Perfekt. Wir werden die Podiumsdiskussion auf Englisch machen, dass wir auf alle eingehen können. Falls jemand eine Frage hat, einfach sagen, wie es euch wohl ist. Wir tun unser Bestes dann, dass das Richtige überkommt. Actually, I have one first question about your solution, Manfred. You showed kind of there should be a national interface. What's happening in the background is kind of all the different ERPs. How do you think do we get there that it gets to a national topic?
Maybe Bindu can start with that idea. Because as the guys from Comsac did it, they went to Holcim, they went to Juracement, they went to, I don't know, Implenia, maybe also Andiker, and they talked to them. And I think if a young startup will do it, it's much more easier if you are going to the politicians, to the government. Do not discuss a long time, do it. And I think mapping is a technology solution, and you can prevent that solution, and I think do it.
Thank you. So we have a new task for next year, Ollie. And then we already talked about Ophélie. So you're coming from France.
Yes.
And you said the topic there is the same as in Switzerland, but some old friends ask you, why did you, have you done the whole project already and we have nothing, kind of. So why?
Yeah, I think the problem is the responsibility of the building permits. In Geneva, we have the responsibility at the level of the state. So it's easier to put funds to implement BIM for the state. And in other cantons, it's not the case. In France, it's not the case. And it's every city, every small area that's managing their own building permits. So it's really difficult to unify all the area, all the cities inside a country. So I think the e-solution for all the Switzerland, it's really, really difficult to have, because you need to have everyone on board and everyone agrees on one solution.
I think that's not the idea. The idea is having one platform and mapping to the other platforms. We do not have one platform in the background, but at the front there could be a solution. Maybe first we are starting in Luzern, then we are talking to Nidwald, and then maybe to Kanton Aargau. And what you have to do as a startup, you have to do the mapping to the ERPs in the back. Because we can't change the cantons or the states, that, as you are saying, and that wouldn't work.
And you said kind of there are thoughts about to get open source with your solution.
Yeah.
And you said kind of the rules in the background are always the same or nearby the same.
They are not the same, but we implement the way to configure all the rules. So it's a little script, but human readable, that you have to do. And for example, you have a filter on all the doors, and you check if the doors are wide enough with the rule. Mm-hmm. So you can create another rule if in another canton or in another country the limit is not 80 centimeters, but 90 centimeters, for example.
Yeah, so the concept is the same, but the parameters are, the content of the parameters is the same. Great. Then maybe about fire protection. You talked a lot about the models were not there or kind of weren't good enough for the check, and that's maybe that's hard words saying yes. Evelyn, what do you think? What should we do to get there, or what can architecture companies, fire protection companies doing to get better models? Or am I asking the wrong question?
I think it's two-sided. It's what I tried to show at the end of my presentation. I think we have to do the requirements, get the requirements lower and less requirements, so it's more easy to approach, and then we should get the quality up on the models we get. Manfred showed something interesting from key value, where they only give in the spaces and then the rest is doing the tool. Mm-hmm. So they actually get to this level where they need it to have this automatization for the cost calculation, and maybe something similar could work for other topics as fire protection or validation or whatever. But I think it's like the requirement on the one side, mm-hmm. and the thing you give on the other side, and we have to mix and match at some point. And in this particular project, it was the building from Losingen-Marazzi that was actually, every time it came to us, something was different, something was better, and something was worse. And one point of it was actually, to be honest, they did a normal planning with 2D drawings, mm-hmm. and they did it as a site, and we found that out halfway in the project, because they agreed to do a building information modeling and doing the project, everything with that. And then halfway in, we found out, okay, they're going parallel with 2D drawings and 3D. So the quality in the 3D was not as good, because it was a side product only for this project. So that's for sure one reason.
So
why.
Kind of, again, double work instead of killing one thing and doing only the other thing.
Yes, and I could not get the answer yet why they did it, because they get the 3D from the architects. They do the implementation of the informations, and I'm still trying to find that out, what happened in between.
Okay. And when you're talking about model quality, do you mean geometry, or is it about information? Because your examples were about information, but to get there, the geometry should be not a problem anymore.
In our project, it was mostly the information, actually. So the geometry was there, maybe not 100%, but most of it. Yeah. So you could, as we could see, you can measure the height of the building and stuff is there, but the information side is what is the challenge. In my opinion, as an architect, it's the information side that is challenging. So you have to map it on the standard and sometimes not as your CAD version does it. Sometimes you have to change something, or you have to be aware where it's written out. I had one example from the gross floor area. The roof was one size, the slabs were one size, but the space was double the size. And we did not know where it came from, because the geometry looked the same, but the information on the geometry was not the same. Okay. So something went wrong in something we thought it's coming directly from the program. We don't need to do something.
Yeah. If you're not, yeah.
If I can add some things, I agree with the thing with the information. For me, the geometry is also sometimes a problem, and as architects company, you can do some things and manage to avoid some problems, because sometimes in 2D it's not thinkable, because when you are doing a floor, for example, you are doing a level, and you are putting all the stuff from that level inside this drawing. In 3D and in BIM, you can, for example, put a thing that it's in the level 2, in the level, the ground floor, with an offset of the high of the floor. So you need to think in 3D and not and to really to model the thing with your tool and not create some things and then if it's not at the right level, you just put an offset. So there are some basic rules, and with the SIA, we are doing a guide to avoid the problems that always occur or that really problematic on geometry and on information, but not in the level of information that you need or we need, because it depends on the project or on the client or on the process, but you need to put the right information on the right
place. Yeah.
So,
cool. Maybe we open discussion for any questions. Some A's are a bit tired and maybe they want more beer. Sind irgendwelche Fragen zur Präsentation, Inputs, Gedanken?
Maybe a question for Filian. I wonder how is the architects world handling this thing in Geneva? Because it's like a big question for architecture firms that have worked for forever in 2D, so it's like a huge change for them.
It's a huge change for the ones that have not yet putting BIM inside the process. For the other ones, it's not a huge change. They need to have the information that we need for the state, but it's not a huge change. There are not in Geneva a lot of small architects that have implemented BIM already. All the big architects, the big architects company have BIM inside, but not the small ones. So it's really difficult to pass the gap. So yeah, it's difficult, but the return that we have is if you have passed the BIM inside your process, you won't go back. So it's a step to have, but after you won't go back.
Maybe from a technical standpoint, how do you do it? You said you address ArchiCAD and Revit as the main platforms, and do you hand out like a preset that they have to implement into their CAD and then fill in the forms so that you can check them afterwards? So how does that work?
You can download it inside the Geneva State platform, Geneva State website. It's BIM configuration file, so we implement it for ArchiCAD and Revit. It's for ArchiCAD, it's XML and so on to create the parameters and then to export it in IFC correctly. And in Revit, it's the same, but with the other types of files and so on. So it's really a starter kit to start the project with the right parameters, not having to type it and have the typo error or something like that. And then you just have to fill the parameters in each object.
Weitere Fragen? Ja.
Is it possible to download for everyone?
Sorry?
Is it possible to download for everyone?
Yes.
We also check landscape and MEP and how do you do fire protection. So we heard you try to do it now with this project.
MEP, yes, landscape a little, but we need also to have the surrounding and to import the surrounding inside the beam. So not yet, but we will. And the MEP and fire safety and etc. It's the law that's in Geneva, but a lot of them are federal. So I think it's the same. And we are checking the one that we can. We cannot check every rules, but the one that's easy to check and that we can check, the distance between two objects or something like that, we can do it.
Okay, so like technically, so one part is like it's like not automated, so but you use the 3D models to check it.
Yeah.
How are you organized inside your department? You can use this program and a few other co-workers from the Generation Z, or everybody?
We are 2 in the Centre de Compétences Métiers BIM, so implementing the rules and conceptualize the platform and so on. And then all the inspectors are inside the other departments, and they give us the rules and the things that they want to check, and we implement it.
What's the average age of this can deal with this inside your department?
The 2 persons are around 30 and 35. And the inspectors, it's, I think less than 50, but some of them, some of the aged one are really want to test it and want to go inside.
Weitere Fragen? Dann gehen wir in die Schlussrunde. Maybe you can do a last message for what do you think is the best tip you can give to the Canton Luzern? What they should do in your opinion to get success in this project?
Success. No, don't hesitate, and you can go, and the other one that's already implemented can help, but you can go, and the road is yours.
The road is yours. Great. Evelyn, maybe from your side, from the view of someone who is doing fire protection planning, what should they do when they get a project? Have they any chance to get to BIM and Brandschutz, and you help them, or how does that work when you start a new pilot project, something like that? If we have any people in the room who are thinking about now, oh, that was a good presentation, maybe we start a pilot project with them.
Yes, of course. So we are a community, so it's open to everyone, and you can get in touch with us. We can help you as far as we have hours and time to help, but we can help with knowledge and then maybe consult even if it's needed, or we can at least do the connections to other participants of our community. So yes, of course, don't hesitate to contact us, and we can help you with this problem or challenge of BIM and fire protection, even in the building permit.
Great. Manfred, you have the whole background with the FHNW, and what do you think is really important from the view of potential students, education, what's happening there, what's important when we go in topics like this, what should we educate to get there?
You should educate that it's not only a technical solution, it's at the core it's a task or the question of human, and first you have to change the minds you have to find, but also technical solutions which are for peoples, for the human being, and not the other way around. If somebody is telling me, oh, they should learn how to use that tool, maybe that's not the right direction. Maybe you have to develop tools and processes which are very close to people. And I think that's the point we also should educate to people, young people, but also people in further education.
Great, thank you. So, thank you very much to being here with us. It was an honor for me to have you here, and yeah, it was a great evening for myself as a young startup. And yeah, I would thank you. Big applause, it's yours.